I have this theory that the people who do the hat on in the weird direction and the right up there with the people who do the weird lip piercing, which is they're fucking with you. Like it's antisocial. First off, it's saying, here's how most people wear their hat. I don't wear my hat that way. I wear it in a super uncomfortable, unattractive way that does nothing for me, and it shades the side of my neck. It does not keep the sun out of my eyes. It doesn't keep the hair out of my face. I will fuck myself up. It's right up there with I wear my pants somewhere around mid-crack line, like about half ass crack mass, like my balls died and my pants are flying at half crack. Like, first off, you think it's comfortable to wear pants that are around your fucking hips?
How can you even walk like that?
If a fucking car came around a corner, you'd get run over, and I'd be the first one cheering. By the way, no, it's not comfortable to wear your hat. I wear ball caps all the time. They're sort of shaped to fit your head, which does kind of have a direction to it. It's
not just sort of.
Yeah, it's not a beach ball. It's got a little shape to it. And the hats and the caps are made. When you pull them sideways, it's kind of like wearing, it's like wearing underpants where you're going to, stick a leg through where the waist would go and put the leg up around your waist. Like, it's fucking uncomfortable. Now, that's uncomfortable. Also, having multiple hoops through your lower lip. I do not believe aids in your eating, lovemaking, your speech and debate class. It does not help you get a job.
Yeah.
It doesn't help you do anything.
Could help with ziplining.
It's a very subtle way and not so subtle way of going, fuck you. I'm uncomfortable. I want you to feel my discomfort. I want you to feel discomfort. This hat, it's an apparel equivalent to you having a booger that's going in and out of your nose as you laugh like a piston, or you having a piece of broccoli on your front tooth. It's fucking me up. And I know, but the broccoli and the booger you're unaware of. The hat you're in charge of. And you know what you're saying. It's antisocial. It's fuck you. And the lip thing, it's forcing me to go, ow, that looks like it hurts. And then I have to do what if that got caught on something? And then I do that, what if you're eating one of those little mini chops, those little lamb chops? It's like appetizer, you get sauté. You get the sauté spear, and it like somehow goes through there, and it pulled away or something. Or
I'd actually managed to never think about that. But now I feel yucky.
Now you're forced to.
Yeah.
Right. This is an antisocial, fuck you, think about me, and this. And there's a million versions of it. There's a million. There's a tattoo version of it. There's a piercing version of it.
There's a hair color version.
I'm going to wear my hat. I'm going to wear my hair. I'm going to take the fucking baffles out of the pipes of my Harley so you can hear me. There's a hear me, look at me, see me, feel me thing. And my thing is, just fuck off.
You've got it locked to HTLA Radio 1, New York.
This program is intended for mature audiences only. If you have any homicidal or suicidal feelings, please consult a doctor before listening to this program.
Yeah, call a doctor. Somebody get me a doctor. All this doctor stuff. Very good. Excellent. How many doctors do we have on the planet? Is that really important? I don't think so. But what is important, of course, though, is that this show is powered
by Procast.
Powered by Procast. Yes, it is. Well, actually, Procast failed us today, yes, because it's not 3 p.m. Eastern right now. No, ladies and gentlemen, it is 6 p.m. Eastern, exactly 3 hours to the minute that we are late. We should have been on, 3 hours ago on this Wednesday, the 4th of March, 2015, for, of course, HTLA Radio 1, New York's Best Talk, Coffee and Cigarettes. However, we've had rolling power outages through parts of the city today. And, of course, as a result, we were down for 4 hours. So I want to actually give some kudos right now to Jenny McCartney, who is in the booth pushing the buttons for us today, making us go on the show, and the rest of the HTLA staff for getting together and getting a move on and sort of resetting us here after the lights came back on in Georgia, as it were. So, yes, thank you very much, HTLA folks. There you go. Now, moving on to more pressing matters, of course, that is, you are listening to HTLA Radio 1 New York, New York's best talk, and this is Coffee and Cigarettes really late. Yes, the Wednesday grinder. And today on the big program, hey, okay, we know the coffee is late, but hey, it's still great, right? But just like the politicians, we'll divert your attention to prospective Republican presidential candidate Ben Carson, who says being gay is a choice. See? Works every time. Yes, all this while a German man has claimed, I may know where the Nazis hid the Amber Room. And if you don't know about the Amber Room, yeah, stay tuned. You're going to want to hear about this. Also, the Boston bomber defense lawyer opens up today in court, of course, about his client saying, quote, it was him. There's a guy we definitely want in our corner for all legal matters. And, of course, Twitter today says that they can help you reach your career goals. Yeah, they can do it. Well, why not? They're the world's news source now, so I'm sure they'll be able to help you reach your career goals. And the Department of Justice finally says, quote, go away, Ferguson. All that and so much more on today's show. So come on in, grab a cup, have a seat, and light one up. It's dinner time. There you go. There's the song that's 3 hours old. Yes. Welcome, of course, to Coffee and Cigarettes, HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk. Might as well do it right off the hop here. Shout-outs to Greg Howe, yes, from St. Catharines, Ontario, who's chomping at the bit there to get going with the show today. So kudos to him, and thank you for his concern, absolutely. We hope you're having better situations with your weather and power out in St. Catharines there, Greg, for sure. And speaking of Greg in St. Catharines, Ontario, well, this show, as well as St. Catharines, I guess, is proudly brought to you by Tim Hortons, although it's Tim Hortons New York City here, not Tim Hortons Canada there, but hey, what do you do? Tim Hortons New York City, now with 8 fine locations throughout the city to serve your coffee and baked goods needs. Check them out, look them up, get on down there, and get some always fresh coffee. And not that 7-month-old stuff from the other place. Yeah. You owe it to yourself, damn it. So what do we got? Well, we got a good show for you today. We've put together a nice one. And, of course, as I mentioned before, the social media goddess herself, who has now alleviated herself from social media altogether because she didn't like it. Although I think she still has her Twitter, right? Yeah. The one, the only, Jenny McCartney, of course, pushing the buttons in the booth, making the show go, as it were, operating that fine gear from PreSonus, the digital 24/42 broadcast mixer that we use here. And she does such a fine job of it, I gotta say. But, yeah, she didn't do well with the old social media. I mean, don't get me wrong, she had 5,000 followers in 4.5 days or something ridiculous like that. But I don't know, she just didn't like it. She, so she seems much happier in recent weeks, I'll put it that way. Oh, yes, and speaking of wonderful things Jenny does, making these pots of Tim Hortons coffee, of course, for every show. Sensational job, Jenny. Absolutely sensational. But enough about Jenny. This isn't Jenny and cigarettes or coffee and Jenny, although we could probably do a show out of that too. What the hell? We're that talented around here. We could pull anything off. Damn it. And, one of the people that I owe my talent to is the one, the only Louis Lawless, calling via satellite, of course, because phones aren't good enough for him. All the way from beautiful Mill Bay Studios in beautiful Mill Bay, British Columbia, Canada. Louis, are you there, sir?
Can you give me any help for $25,000?
Of course, you're there then.
You know how to spell my last name on the check, right? It's Louis Lawless.
Yes, we have that, sir. I believe so, and the check is in the mail, of course. Yeah.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
You can try cussing, but we got the button here, and we're on a 20-second delay or something. Yeah, we got you covered, man. You go ahead. You do whatever you want. You know?
I nearly got kicked out of a theater. I can't remember what I saw about 2 weeks ago because I was booing and screaming.
Right. Yes. Well, that happens, of course. Only to you for some reason. Yeah.
We were 5 steps away from winning the Academy Award.
I know, and you didn't.
And we did.
No, and that just kind of happens, you know. That's what happens. You just got to kind of roll with it, you know.
The music is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, you got to hear it.
Well, I would, and I've called into the switchboard before and actually heard some of it. It is good, you know. I'll give you that. It's not bad for a talk station. I don't know. I've always thought that when you call HTLA, you get put on hold, you'd be listening to one of our, I don't know, talk shows, maybe, instead of like, the music. But hey, you know what? If you like it, good stuff. Glad to hear it. And there you go. Bob's your uncle.
It's about fucking time. Move on. All
right. Well, glad to have you here. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And, of course, joining us from his apartment in Midtown, of course, is the one, the only Gilbert Gottfried. Gilbert? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, off to a good start there. Yes, and, of course, from his home in Los Angeles, California, the one and only George Takei. Yes, thank you, George.
I think it's a treat to be here talking with you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That's a high praise coming from a man like you. I don't know quite what to say except thank you. And, give the folks a little rundown. Who is George Takei?
I'm George Takei, and when I'm walking down the street, people shout out,
Hey, Sulu!
So I'm known more as Sulu than as George Takei, which is what I really am.
Well, no, you're not. You're Sulu, and I would just leave it at that. I mean, as far as anybody else is concerned, you just walk around, you're Captain Sulu. Actually, I guess with your age now, we would refer to you as Admiral Sulu, although that wasn't on screen. We'll just go with that, Admiral Sulu.
You are
a
douchebag.
No. Okay. You don't like that, do you? No. Well, I don't know what it is, Gilbert. Something about your laugh. Something about, I don't know, maybe it's the way you dress. Maybe it's that constant squint, always asking yourself, can he see?
Same thing.
Yes. Well, it is the same thing. Absolutely. We don't know if you can see, but we certainly know you can sing. And, of course, as always, as promised, we'd let you sing on the show. So I'll turn the floor over to you. Give us your best. Yeah.
Na, 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 na. Ba, ma, 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 ma. Oh, yeah. Who wants to grow up? Who wants responsibility? Oh, no, not me. Who wants to show up and work until you're 93?
Not you, no.
Now everybody says you're running wild. The teacher's calling you a problem. Ooh.
The music is fantastic. Yeah. Oh, you got to hear it.
Oh, yeah, we can hear it. Absolutely. Yes. Wow.
I'd like to have that as my slogan in life.
Oh, well, we'll work on that. Well, we got to get on with the show because, that's showbiz. You can't just continue yakking forever.
Yes.
You gotta actually get into the meat of it. You got to get into the balls, if you will. So let's look at the first story up today in the old coffee shop here, which is, of course, the Department of Justice announcing today that Wilson won't be charged in Ferguson's fatal shooting. Yes. The Justice Department will not bring criminal charges against former Ferguson, Missouri police officer Darren Wilson, whose fatal shooting of a black teenager prompted waves of protests, looting, and some really sweet deals on eBay for Air Jordans. So they're unfortunately not going to charge him either. So that's the local law enforcement. That's the state law enforcement. The federal grand jury returned no charges or anything. He wasn't culpable. Internal Affairs, of course, probably the most stringent out of all of them.
Yes.
Yeah. They came back and, of course, said, nope, nothing wrong here. He's perfectly within police procedure. We're not going to do anything. And, well, now today, of course, the Department of Justice, the Federal Department of Justice, says, no, sorry. Not going to do it. The decision, outlined in an 86-page memo made public today, states that the officer, who is white, acted in apparent self-defense. Nothing racially motivated whatsoever. Yes. No. Attorney General Eric Holder characterized the outcome of the shooting investigation as representing a sound, considered, and independent judgment of the expert career prosecutors within the Department of Justice. That's what he had to say. The conclusion of the shooting investigation, along with the Justice Department's separate scathing denouncement of racially biased policing operations in Ferguson, comes 6 months after Michael Brown, 18, was shot by Wilson, setting off all those lovely demonstrations that spread across the country now for apparently no reason. Yeah. No reason whatsoever. It was just, we want to get some shoes, and it's time to get some stuff leveled and get some shoes. So, quote, I concur with the investigative team's judgment and the determination about our inability to meet the required federal standard of proof, Holder said. In the shooting inquiry, federal investigators said, quote, several witnesses stated that Brown appeared to pose a very physical threat to Wilson on August 9th when Wilson stopped Brown, a suspect in a convenience store theft, for walking in the street. According to these witnesses, who are corroborated by blood evidence in the roadway, the inquiry states Wilson fired at Brown in what appeared to be self-defense and stopped firing once Brown fell to the ground. There is no evidence upon which prosecutors can rely to disprove Wilson's stated subjective belief that he feared for his personal safety, the report concluded. Investigators focus closely on the actions of both Wilson and Brown during an encounter that lasted just 2 minutes in total on that hot early afternoon in August. During those moments, Brown argued with the officer while Wilson sat in his patrol vehicle, then reached into the open window in an apparent struggle for control of the officer's gun. Wilson fired the weapon during the struggle, striking Brown in the right hand. After the initial gunfire, investigators says Brown fled and Wilson chased him on foot. About 180 feet into that chase, Brown turned around and came back towards Wilson. Although several witnesses have asserted that Brown raised his hands in a sign of surrender before the fatal shots were fired, well, some of those accounts prove to be inaccurate because they're inconsistent with the physical and forensic evidence, the report found. So you keep telling the stories, and then, of course, we look at the evidence. You know that little thing called evidence, yeah?
Bullshitters, never keep your mouth shut, always hustling, always looking for something to do and putting things together. That's a American. Look how they took the country away from England.
Well, there you go. Louis got it nailed down firmly there. Justice officials met with Brown's family earlier today to inform them of the decision not to prosecute Wilson. They said, today we received disappointing news from the Department of Justice that the killer of our son wouldn't be held accountable for his actions. Brown's parents said in a written statement today, while we are saddened by this decision, the fourth of such we've received, yeah, God, It only takes 4 decisions to finally get through to them. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, only have to be told 4 times. I love it. Well, saddened by the decision, we are encouraged that the Department of Justice will hold the Ferguson Police Department now accountable for the pattern of racial bias and profiling they found in their handling of interactions with people of color. Oh, do I seem jaded? I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are a douchebag.
Well, I call it like I see it, George. I keep telling you. Yeah. Yes, so the family is now taking the Ferguson Police Department to task. It is our hope that through this action, true change will come not only in Ferguson, but around the country. If that change happens, our son's death will not have been in vain, and we will indeed sell over the targeted 1 million mark of Black Lives Matter T-shirts. Yes. We must sell more T-shirts. We got to. I mean, that's what it's all about. Poor Michael's dead. That doesn't matter anymore. Somebody's got to pay for that, and if we can't get it through the courts or through countless being told, no, we're not prosecuting him, he was acting within his authority as a police officer. You got to do that, Sorry. Officials had signaled weeks before the release of Wednesday's report a prosecution was not likely, but its separate examination of overall police operations found apparently rampant evidence of racial bias in a department that had long ago lost the public trust of its African-American residents. Which make up 67% of the city's population. Correct me if I'm wrong for a second. If 67% of that city's population is black and the vast majority of arrests are black, wouldn't that just reflect the population percentage? Wouldn't it? Well, I'm asking the question. I mean, it just, like...
I've been on enough radio shows to know that in the middle of an answer, the guy is like checking the boards and looking over notes and talking to other people. Yes. See? Now you're impressed.
Yeah. Very impressed. Absolutely.
Break for a commercial.
Well, look at that. Look at that. You are actually right on the money, sir. Yes. It is time for our first commercial break. Actually, I'm 2 minutes over from this lovely story. So when we come back, we'll finish that story out and also tell you about that incredible defense lawyer that the Boston Marathon bomber drew. Who opened up.
I'm George Takei.
Yes, I know, George. You are George Takei, yes. we're gonna be back in 2 minutes and tell you about that lawyer for the Boston Marathon bomber who opened up opening statements today in court with, quote, "It was him," pointing to his client. Yeah. We'll be back in 2.
You've got it locked to New York's best talk, HTLA Radio 1.
What if there was a coffee that was sourced from some of the world's most renowned growing regions, abundant with rich, fertile soil? What if this coffee was picked at the perfect moment, then packed meticulously and shipped carefully to be roasted under the watchful eye of coffee masters? What if it was expertly blended, ground, and sealed, ensuring maximum flavor and freshness, then brewed in small batches and always served fresh within 20 minutes, just the way you like it? Now, what if this coffee just happened to be the coffee you already know and love? Tim Hortons. Always fresh. Always great tasting coffee.
Man, I've been to a lot of places over these past 50 years. Seen the whole true north strong and free. 'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Cooksville, Stouffville, Bainesville, Bowmanville, Bonnieville, Unionville, Oakville, Dunville, Brockville, Boucherville, Melville, Drummondville, Kentville, Grenville, Morinville, Maryville, Parksville, Stephenville, Sackville, Spring Hill, Westville, Walkerville, hanging on a windowsill. Hey! He said, wow, that's a lot of places. I said, hang on, there's more. I've been to Moncton, Picton, Shannon, Vernon, Stellarton, Hamilton, Nipigon, Nobleton, Yorkton, Brighton, Bolton, Beaverton, Brandon, Edmonton, Walkerton, Wyerton, Granby, Miramichi, Charlottetown, Burnaby, Yellowknife, Whitehorse, Corner Brook, Nunavut. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I crossed the prairies bare, man. I breathed the mountain air. I've traveled, I've done my share, man. I've been everywhere, man. Check it out. Ottawa, Wawa, Mattawa, Chippewa, Moose Jaw, Oshawa.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the Egyptian cotton towels. Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York. Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
Some said the U.S. has lost its innovative power. We said America is lighting the way as the innovation nation. Singular insights, superior execution. That's the power of global connections. Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Voted top global research firm 2011, 12, and 13.
I've been so inspired by being in New York because everything from what people are wearing on the street to the way they're interacting with each other, to drive through the West Village at night and you see a couple kissing on the street, or you see someone fighting outside their apartment, or you see so much humanity on a daily basis that even if you're not inspired by your own life that day, you can be inspired by someone else's life.
You got that long hair, slick back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl face and a tight little skirt. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time, 'cause we never go out, we never style, we never go out of style. Take me out.
There's only one place to get more Taylor. We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
He needs love, Chris. Come on.
Well, I know.
You got to dispense more love from yourself. All these people are hurting here.
Well, they might be hurting, but well, I guess the crash man is squirting. I'll be all the squirting. Yeah. Well, welcome back today to the Coffee and Cigarettes, the Wednesday grinder for this, the Wednesday, 4th of March, 2015. Coming up on that spring thing, you know it. 43 degrees right now, Central Park, and cloudy, but not too freaking bad. I'm not going to complain. 6:26 in the PM right now, live. So what do we got? Oh yeah, I was going to say hey, howdy boatsy, and shout outs to one Miss Kathy Curran. Yes, the Kathy Curran lady. Of course, if you do any business with HTLA in terms of any of our advertisers and sponsors, you of course already know Kathy Curran. She's the marketing and sales exec here at HTLA, and she's in the house tonight having a live listen to the show. Good to see her as always. And of course, with me, of course, is the one, the only Louis Lawless.
We're 5 steps away from winning the Academy Award. And we did.
Right, and of course Gilbert Gottfried.
You know, I'm the most talented guy in this room.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, of course he is. Of course he is.
I wasn't expecting that reaction.
Yeah, neither was I. No. And of course, the one, the only George Takei. Good to have you here, guys, as always. And of course, our first story was fun, but nowhere near as fun as what we're about to get into. Because, of course, we all know the Boston Marathon bomber. The trial began today, and in opening arguments, well, his lawyer just kind of gave him up by saying it was him. Oh, it's awesome. It's just awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's true story. That's what happened. I don't make this stuff up. Well, almost 2 years after the twin bombings rocked the Boston Marathon, the city and the nation, the trial of suspect Dozkar Sarniev opened Wednesday with his lawyer admitting, quote, it was him. And, yeah, defense lawyer Judy Clark, I guess she costs 70% or 30% less than a male lawyer. Can I say that on the air? Oh, yeah, I just did, didn't I? Oh, well. Well, Judy Clark pleaded with a federal jury to approach the case with an open mind. Yes, not opposed to anything based on the facts. No. No? What? Well, yes. So, suggested that Sarniev's brother Tamerlan, you know, the dead one, yeah, it was all him who masterminded it. Yeah, it's not my client at all, no. Actually, no, it was. It was him. Yeah, what am I saying?
Same thing.
Yeah, it is, yes. Well, the trial began with opening statements from both sides in a courtroom packed with victims, family members, media, and members of the public. Assistant U.S. Attorney William Weinrub went first, quickly describing a gory scene of carnage perpetrated by a cowardly bomber who targeted a group of children when twin blasts rocked a crowded street near the finish line. The defendant's goal that day was to maim and kill as many victims as possible, Weinrub said. He believed that he was a soldier in a holy war against the Americans. He believed he had taken a step towards reaching paradise, and that was his motive for committing these crimes. Weinrub added that Sarniev, 21 years old now, believed the United States government is the enemy of the Muslim people. You know, kind of that thing that the Muslim people are always saying. Yeah. Your Honor, if it please the court, Muslims effing hate Americans. So, of course, the plaintiff rests. Yeah. Yes. There you go. Well, 17 of the counts, of course, carried the death penalty in this case. Sarniev faces 30 charges in all in connection with blasts. He's also charged in the killing of a Massachusetts Institute of Technology police officer days after the bombing. Sarniev is accused of conspiring with Tamerlan Sarniev, who was killed 4 days after the blast as the brothers fled police. Hours after his brother's death, Dozkar Sarniev was found wounded and hiding in a boat in a backyard in Watertown, about 10 miles west of Boston. Clark acknowledged that her client was involved in the, quote, senseless, horribly misguided acts carried out by two brothers, 26-year-old Tamerlan and his younger brother, Dozkar Sarniev. Tamerlan Sarniev became obsessed with the Islamic extremism, Clark said. He traveled to Russia and explored violent jihad there for 6 months. It's like an all-expense-paid tour of Russia. And yes, we'll just... yes, come and explore the violent jihad. Yes. Well, Clark said Tamerlan had a special kind of influence on his brother, dictated by his age, their culture, and Tamerlan's sheer force of personality. That's what'll do it. I'm serious. That is what will do it.
Break for a commercial.
No. We're not gonna break for a commercial, but I will pause for this fine sip of coffee. There we go.
Did you think Al Pacino did a good job as Spectre?
Yeah, absolutely. Al Pacino does a really fine job at everything, say.
Yes.
Yeah, I would have to. Yeah, there you go. Well, before opening statements began, Judge George O'Toole ruled that Sarniev's legal team generally won't be permitted to focus on Tamerlane's influence. Twice he cut off Clark when she pressed this issue with the jury in her opening statements. Wow, she's screwing up in her opening statements. Let's start off this whole thing by pissing off the only judge we have. Yeah. Oh, good move. It's all tactics, you know. It's all legal positioning. That's it. Well, Clark acknowledged that Dokar Sarniev, then 19, wrote the words found scrawled in pencil in the boat where he was captured, but she rejected claims by prosecutors that it was her client's, quote, manifesto. He wrote words that he had read and heard, that the U.S. was responsible for the suffering of Muslims, Clark said. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I've got a theory. I think the reason that Muslims suffer is the waterless death desert they live in. Yes. Just call me crazy. Call me nuts. Hey, call me a douchebag.
You are a douchebag.
But, I think it's the self-inflicted kind. Weinreb made clear that video evidence will be key in the trial. He said surveillance video from the Forum restaurant near where the second bomb went off will show Dokar Sarniev approach with a backpack, drop his shoulder, and leave the scene full of children without his backpack. Sarniev walked to a safe distance after the first bomb went off, Weinreb said, and remotely detonated the pressure cooker bomb hidden in the backpack. Clark, in turn, acknowledged that her client dropped the backpack outside the Forum and later hid in a boat in Watertown. It was him, she said. That's her slogan. Yeah. It was him. It was him.
I'd like to have that as my slogan in life.
No, you don't. You don't want to do that. No. I know, you're only kidding. It's okay. Weinreb said another video from MIT allegedly shows Dokar and Tamerlan Sarniev approaching a cruiser of Sean Collier, the MIT security officer who was killed during the marathon bombing manhunt. The MIT video didn't capture the actual shooting, but forensic evidence will prove Sarniev guilty, Weinreb said. The first witness to take the stand was Thomas Grilk, executive director of the Boston Athletic Association, which has organized the marathon since its inception back in 1897. Does that mean he's like 128 years old? What? What? It's just a question.
Yes.
Okay, I know he's not 127 years old. Jurors viewed a silent video from the finish line. It showed runners crossing the line, then a fireball in the crowd, a smoke rose, and police in fluorescent jackets ran into the course. Grilk said injured spectators were brought to a medical tent, which was quickly filled with victims. Everyone who entered that tent alive is alive today, Grilk said. Sarniev did not make eye contact with Grilk during his testimony. He mostly looked down at papers in front of him. I certainly hope it wasn't his defense attorney's script. You see, the reason I say that is because, then you'd know your bone. Yeah. It's just done. Well, the second witness on the stand was Shane O'Hara, manager of Marathon Sports, a running shoe retailer located in Boylston Street, just steps from the Boston Marathon finish line. When a bomb went off, the store window's exterior pane shattered. Store surveillance video viewed by the jury shows men grabbing apparel off hangers and rushing outside. I wonder if they were from Ferguson. Yeah, I'm gonna say they're the yeah. One of the things that haunt me is who needed help first, Who was injured more than another, O'Hara said. It was like a scene from Saving Private Ryan or Platoon, something I never thought I'd see in real life. Weinrib asked about the sounds O'Hara heard. Quote, I heard a voice saying, stay with me, O'Hara said. The trial was much anticipated here. The spectators began lining up outside the courthouse at 5 a.m. Tsarnaev entered the courtroom shortly after 9 a.m., his once shaggy beard trimmed and partially shaven. He wore an open-necked collared shirt and a dark sport jacket. He smiled very slightly when greeting his attorneys. He did not look at the crowd, all with pitchforks and daggers. Yeah. and the occasional torch.
You are a douchebag.
I am. Well, if the jury convicts Tsarnaev, like, duh. Well, you know, in this country, they call it due process. I call it delayed reaction. Yeah.
Break for a commercial.
Yes, I think we. Do we? No. Yeah, we do. Look at you. You have got this together right now, my man. Yes. You know. All right. Well, we're going to go for a second commercial break, and when we come back, we'll finish off this story and get into one that's just so much fun. Could be our new president says that. Being gay, that's just a choice. You just want to be gay. Yeah.
You've got it locked to New York's best talk. HTLA Radio.
I'm a Shakespeare.
I'm George. I have been.
Man, I've been to a lot of places over these past 50 years. Seen the whole true north strong and free. 'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Cooksville, Stouffville, Baynesville, Bowmanville, Bonnieville, Unionville, Oakville, Dunville, Brockville, Boucherville, Melville, Drummondville, Kentville, Grenville, Morinville, Maryville, Parksville, Stephenville, Sackville, Spring Hill, Westville, Walkerville, hanging on a windowsill. Hey! He said, wow, that's a lot of places. I said, hang on, there's more. I've been to Moncton, Picton, Shannon, Vernon, Stellarton, Hamilton, Nipigon, Nobleton, Yorkton, Brighton, Bolton, Beaverton, Brandon, Edmonton, Walkerton, Wyerton, Granby, Miramichi, Charlottetown, Burnaby, Yellowknife, Whitehorse, Corner Brook, none of it. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I crossed the prairies bare, man. I breathed the mountain air. I've traveled, I've done my share, man. I've been everywhere, man. Check it out. Ottawa, Wawa, Mattawa, Chippewa, Moose Jaw, Oshawa.
It could be 7 in the morning. Or 10 at night.
In Chilliwack, BC.
Or St. Peter's, Nova Scotia.
It could be Michelle.
Or Mark.
Or Jen.
But whenever. Wherever you order that cup of Tim Hortons Premium Blend Coffee.
You know that it's always fresh.
From Newfoundland and Labrador to Vancouver Island, Tim Hortons, a coffee all our own.
You walked into the hotel as a 5. But when she saw the room, you turned into a weird 7. When she saw the rooftop pool, you went to 11. You two should probably get a room. Oh, that's right. You already did. At Planet Earth's #1 accommodation site, Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
Some said the U.S. has lost its innovative power. We said America is lighting the way as the innovation nation. Singular insights, superior execution. That's the power of global connections. Bank of America, Merrill Lynch. Voted top global research firm 2011, 12, and 13.
I've been so inspired by being in New York because everything from what people are wearing on the street to the way they're interacting with each other, to drive through the West Village at night and you see a couple kissing on the street, or you see someone fighting outside their apartment, or you see so much humanity on a daily basis that even if you're not inspired by your own life that day, you can be inspired by someone else's life.
You got that long hair, slick back, white
There's only one place to get more Taylor. We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
It seemed like Dean Martin was uncomfortable, too.
Well, that's just because he ran out of booze, yeah. Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it may be to you. I don't even care anymore. I don't. Today's coffee and cigarettes for Wednesday, March 4th, 2015. Of course, we're rolling late tonight, into the night. God, I'm missing my dinner. I know you guys are too. But what do you do when you live in that shoe? We just roll and keep on rolling. 43 degrees still Central Park right now at this hour. Yes, 6:43 in the PM on your coffee and cigarettes late night edition. Yeah. And, how about them defense lawyers, eh? No.
The music is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got to hear it.
Absolutely. I'm all about it. All about it.
Well, okay, I think, see, this is something like a lot of people don't understand, but I know you understand it. And like I think we both have that fascination of show business that it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that reaction.
No. No. But you see, the thing is, you can't really expect any reaction with Gilbert on the show. He's just all that in a bag of chips. Yeah.
He does a tour de force.
Now you're talking about yourself in the third person. Oh, it's crazy here. It's crazy. But yes, those lovely defense lawyers. Of course, we reported to you earlier that Sarniev's defense lawyers had tried 4 times to have that trial moved out of Boston. But of course, now, with the information today, of course, now we understand fully why that was not granted, because obviously in each of the 4 attempts to have the venue changed, clearly the defense attorney just said to the judge, "Look, he did it. We've got to." He's as guilty as sin. We can't have it here. He's certain to get the death penalty. Yeah, he is. Well, there it is. So that's good luck to you, Sarniev. I guess another 2 years, because after the trial, which will be a year, and you don't have a glove, so we won't acquit. All that good stuff. Yeah. So what do you do? Well, you just wait the year. And then, of course, sentencing will take place the next year. And then he'll be put on death row for 10 to 15 years. And we'll wait and we'll wait. And most of us will die of old age before anything ever comes of it. And then
use power. That's why power is corrupt, and it is. We see it every day. We see it in every job. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Well, there it is,
Here's a name out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just thought, because she's really of... like more modern but still old Hollywood. Raquel Welch.
Yeah, Raquel Welch. Yeah, hot damn. Yeah, she she was hot. Absolutely, an amazing talent that, of course, had absolutely nothing to do with acting. But where do you go from there? You just gotta keep on rolling.
Break for a commercial.
No. We can't, man. We're late. We got 14 minutes left in the show, and I've got 4 stories left to do. Yeah. It's Gilbert. He's screwing me up. He's throwing me off. Of course, next up on the show today is the news today hitting that prospective Republican presidential candidate Ben Carson, is getting quite a bit of scientific pushback for his comment that being gay is a choice, and citing prisons as his evidence. I don't know about you, Ben, but last time I was in prison, that wasn't a choice. That was that's a lifestyle that's kind of, I don't know, put upon you.
Yes.
Yeah. No offense, George. I know that, you weren't forced to do anything. I don't know, Louis. You might be able to get that $25,000 for some, you know.
I need to try and raise $25,000 to enter in the Academy Awards, and I think it's a fantastic risk because we have a tremendous chance. There's about 200 members that vote on it, and they all get. You have to give them a DVD now.
Yes.
Yeah. I know it's tough. It's tough. Well, Ben's apparent logic here is, quote, because a lot of people who go into prison straight, and when they come out, they're gay. Yes, Carson actually told CNN this today. Quote, so did something happen while they were in there? You ask yourself that question. And no, I don't. Again, that's I think that's called forcible rape in the old criminal code there. Well, scientists say that people who have no choice about sexual orientation and are particularly critical of Carson's comment, the fundamental assumption of the analogy he's using is insane, says Helen Eigenberg, a professor of criminal justice at the University of Tennessee. Well, there you go. Professor of criminal justice, clearly a sexual orientation expert. Yeah. Well, she's got to be, you know. But why would they take a quote from the professor of criminal justice, you know, when it's about sexuality? I don't get that. But hey, that's what she says. Who has been studying sexuality and incarceration? Oh, okay, for about 25 years, reports the Washington Post. I don't know of any research that substantiates the claim that men go to prison and come out gay. There's no data to support that claim. Well, I don't think she can actually say that unless she puts me in a test and puts me in a prison of all women and allows me to be forcibly raped and see. Well, we got to put that, you know, science is about facts of equal balance, you know, and filtering truth and you know, it's
really hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, boy. Well, there you go. So Carson is a retired neurosurgeon. Wow, really? Somebody that educated is that stupid? I'm serious. I'm not even kidding. Wow, okay. Well, the retired neurosurgeon formed a presidential exploratory this week and is expected to decide soon whether to actively seek the Republican presidential nomination. Don't you think the party might want to have a say in that? You know, I'm just thinking. I don't know. Call me a crazy Canadian. I don't know nothing about the American system, but really, he's gonna go in it. No, he's not. Well, hey, new Nazi news. You know, you can't get enough Nazis, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Both the Nazis on Hogan's Heroes were Jews.
Yes, of course they were. Yes. Why wouldn't they be? Well, the fabulous Amber Room, looted by the Nazis from a Russian palace back in 1941, may be the world's most valuable piece of lost art. This according to Reuters. And a 68-year-old man in Western Germany thinks he knows just where it is. Karl-Heinz Klein and friends of his bowling club have been exploring tunnels and bunkers under the old industrial city of Wuppertal, and he tells the Daily Mail that Erich Koh, the chief Nazi administrator in East Prussia, where the panels from the Amber Room were stored, came from the town and had the jewel-clad chamber dismantled and shipped there as the Red Army advanced to Königsberg, now Kaliningrad, the room's last known location. He brought it to a place he knew, where he had a good chance of accessing it in the future, says Klein, who has studied records and talked to locals where were alive in the mid-1940s. But Klein says the research is expensive, and a building company that loaned the team a drill has now asked that it be returned. We need helpers, special equipment, and money, he tells Reuters. I only have a small pension, and a new machine is too expensive for me, but whoever helps will get his share of the Amber Room when we find it, he adds, predicting that the search will move rapidly if he gets the right tools. Yeah. Well, you never know. You never know. But, there's that whole archaeological thing, and then what country owns what, and, all of a sudden, of course, the Germans are going to be like, well, the Nazis were our invention. It's ours.
You are a douchebag.
I know. Well, the Smithsonian has more background on the amber-paneled room, a 1716 gift to Peter the Great from the King of Prussia, that some called the eighth wonder of the world. An interesting detail, with the Nazis approaching, the room was covered in wallpaper in an unsuccessful attempt to disguise it. In 2007, the magazine valued the room and actually being worth $142 million in that year's dollar value. The long-lost diary of a Hitler aide recently surfaced in upstate New York, and that apparently adds absolutely nothing to the entire story. There we go. I'm so glad I could entertain today.
Yes.
No, it's actually pretty stunning for me, Gilbert.
Yeah.
I don't normally entertain. Researchers now have found the oldest direct link to humans. Yeah. An international team led by researchers at Arizona State University has identified the oldest known fossil of the human genus, a discovery that marks a major new chapter in human evolution. Researchers say the fossil, found by an ASU graduate student, is 2.8 million years old. That's about 400,000 years older than previous fossil records. The team's finding was published today in the journal Science. The paper is receiving international attention because it further refines the period in which the genus Homo originated. The Homo group includes... Calm down, George. The Homo group includes the species that eventually became modern humans, known as Homo sapiens, as well as others that went extinct. This was found, of course, at Joan Rivers' gravesite. I'm kidding. That wasn't even funny. Except you guys laughed your ass off. Well, 5 ways that Twitter, yes, the stupid little 140 characters or less website, is going to help you reach your career goals, if you can believe it. I can't believe it. I'm stunned and shocked. So you finally took the plunge and signed up for Twitter, did you? You even got a little hardcore and started tweeting regularly several times per day and following influencers in your industry. You also followed Kanye West, but hey, no one needs to know that. Now that you're starting to feel more comfortable with the platform, you may be wondering what the next steps are to step up that Twitter game and really use it to benefit your career. Taking your tweeting up to the next level really depends on what you want to do. Are you looking to make rock star new contacts? Read great content in your field? Find jobs? Something else entirely? Well, here are a few things to try based on exactly what you want to get out of your Twitter experience. If you want to start networking, you might feel weird following people that admire and then awkwardly tweeting them individually. So what if there was a way to interact directly with people who want to connect with others that have similar interests? Well, good news. That's right. There are Twitter chats constantly taking place on pretty much any topic you can think of. The great thing about Twitter chats is that people who can sign on to do them just don't want to give their opinions. They also want to interact with others and hear their thoughts too. These are collaborative efforts, meaning to bring together users, which in turn makes for some great networking opportunities. If you're not sure which Twitter chat is in line with your industry or interests, there's a comprehensive list. It's a great place to look, and you can find that, of course, at radio1newyork.proboards.com. That's the station's forums there, and they're posted up there. Yeah, there it is. So that's Twitter helping you find a new job, if you believe it or not. Yeah. It seems a little far-fetched to me, you know? Yes. Yeah.
It's about fucking time. Move on.
All right, well, yes, we are closely running out of time here. I got about 4 minutes left. And in our final story today, officers' fatal shooting by a suspect has been called an ambush. This happened in Fulton County, Georgia, early this morning. Police officer died today after being shot in the head by a suspect. Police identified the fallen officer as Detective Terrence Avery Green. According to Fulton County Assistant Police Chief Gary Stiles, the shooting took place around 1:30 in the morning in Cedar Grove subdivision near Fairburn. Police responded to shots fired, a call early on Wednesday. They were told the suspect was possibly intoxicated. Neighbors said the man was going from house to house, banging on doors and firing a long-barrel gun. The suspect, identified as Emmanuel Magnesia, began shooting at the officer, striking Green in the head. Stiles described the situation as an ambush, saying the officers were trying to do their job. They were trying to protect the neighborhood from someone who was shooting, and they had no other option but to do their job, and the way it appears to me, they were ambushed without warning. The officers, of course, returned fire and hit the suspect, who is being treated while in custody at Grady Memorial Hospital. His condition is unknown. Stiles said Green was a veteran officer with nearly 22 years of service. He is survived by his parents and 4 sons. Quote, "This is not the first officer we have lost. It's heartbreaking," Stiles said. Fulton County Police Chief Cassandra Jones echoed Stiles' statement, saying that the officer was well-liked among his colleagues. "You can never prepare for something like this," Jones added, "and we're not handling it very well." The weapon used to shoot and kill the officer has been recovered. Stiles described it as a long gun, but did not immediately know the caliber. Stiles said police do not believe there are additional suspects in the case. Dozens of police officers continue to investigate in the neighborhood where the shooting occurred this morning. Fulton County Chairman John Eves released a statement after learning of Green's death. Quote, "This is a stark and sad reminder of the hard, dangerous work that our men and women of law enforcement embark upon every time they respond to a call. Oftentimes, there's little indication of which calls would leave officers facing imminent danger. At this time, I ask you to pray for Detective Green's family, as well for the men and women of whom he served." Alfred Printup, who lives in the subdivision, says he was at work when the shots rang out. He was on the phone with his wife and could hear the gunshots. "I just want to thank that police officer who gave his life to keep my family safe," said Printup. According to the Fulton County Police Department's website, Wednesday's victim was the first officer killed in the line of duty since way back in April of 2003. And the 4th officer killed since the department was formed back on July 1st, 1975. So there you go. There it is. That's the well-rounded dealio right there. There you go.
But I love every second of it.
Well, and so you should.
Yes.
Yeah. It's an incredible thing that we do here every day, and we do it for you. Yes, the HTLA listener. We know you're out there. So, yes, thank you. That is all the time we have for today. I want to thank HTLA Radio 1 New York. Check us out, HTLARadio1.com, for all our wonderful shows. I want to thank Louis for coming down today, being in the show here, doing the thing that he does.
It's just life, and I love doing it. I love doing these kind of stories anyway.
There we go. The one, the only Gilbert Gottfried. Thank you, sir, for being in here again today.
Thank you for listening and support the show for the love of God.
There we go.
Break for a commercial.
Yeah. And George Takei. Thank you again, George. Wonderful friend. Thank you for being here for us again today.
I've enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah.
It has been a fantastic experience.
I'd like to have that as my slogan in life.
All right.
It's about fucking time. Move on.
Well, thank you, Louis. And yes, moving on. Be sure to join us tomorrow at 3, thank you, p.m. Eastern, of course, for another fine edition of Coffee and Cigarettes, the Thursday Double-Double. And, yeah, we'll just leave her there for now. So on behalf of yours truly, Chris Crash Jesus Taylor, all the guest co-hosts here, and, of course, the one, the only social media goddess, Jenny McCartney. You have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.
best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
Break for a commercial.